Hello, hello, welcome back to my class. Alright, so my matte medium and my gesso card panels have all dried. If you remember, I did matte medium on this and you can hardly tell that there's a stencil design on it, but there is. You can kind of see maybe like right there's the matte medium, that's the paper. So we got some fun things to play with that. Here's my gesso panel that we tinted the gesso with Brushos, and then that actually I might just call this done and put a simple sentiment right here or something and let it be, because it's really pretty. And the pearl totally worked. It got a lot of it has a really nice sheen to it. You can kind of see that pearl color. It's really neat. So there's that one. Here's my gessoed triangles. Aren't those so cute? I cannot wait to color with those. Here's another one. There's my gesso swirls that I did. There's this is gessoed, the extra gesso that I had left over. I didn't want to waste, so I just put it on this card panel. I'll probably cut it down to size and make a card out of it. Here's a gel medium with just plain gel medium, no extra colors on it, just to see what that does, so we'll play with that too. Here is my gel medium with glitter, and I'm still tapping off the extra glitter, which is fine, that's fine. And I can also use my paintbrush to brush off the extra glitter if you don't want the extra glitter just loose on your card. But it stays pretty dry. I mean, it's on there. It's not going anywhere, that's for sure. So, which is fun. That's part of the glitter process. I think I can't decide if I want to do a light blue or a yellow, but I'm excited. I think I might actually do like a variegated wash on this, and I think that'll look neat. And then the black glitter, it dried, and I'm going to brush off that glitter a little bit. And this is from the Holtz black soot black glitter. I really like that. I think this is going to make for a really nice card panel. And then last but not least, my beautiful caramel gold glitter that I'd honestly, like, I don't want to touch it, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit of brusho. I'm going to squirt it with water and add just a little bit of brusho to it, and that's going to look really pretty. Alright, so got my glitter off, and it stayed pretty good, and I got a pretty clean cover of gesso on it, or matte medium on it, so I'm feeling pretty good at this point. Alright, let's get started. So we'll start with something simple. This is just matte medium, and I'm getting glitter everywhere. Sometimes it helps to have like a dryer sheet if you're playing with glitter, because the dryer sheet will pick up the glitter and then hopefully just leave it there. Alright, so if this was a stencil, this was a lacy stencil, I think I'm going to go with I really want to go with like a cool color. I'm going to start with purple and turquoise. That seems like a really fun way to start. So I'm going to go ahead and squirt my panel, and you're going to be able to see it resist. It might not resist like right away. It's pretty fun. So I'm just adding purple to it. I'm going to wait to see what it does. Wet my paintbrush. Clean my paintbrush, wet my paintbrush. And now I'm just moving my brush around. If there's a lot of water, and soften that up, mopping that up a little bit. You can kind of see the design. And what will happen is when I put water on it, it just repels it. Isn't that fun? It's kind of magical. The thing I love about this is the stencil does all the work. I say that about the stamps and the stencils, but when you get a technique that works together, why mess with something that's not broken? And that's really what it is about. All right, this is a pretty nice I like that. And I think what I'm going to do is just add some more. I really like the purple. I'm not going to, if I add a little bit of turquoise, I'm going to start right here in the corner and see if I like it. I don't know if I like it yet, but I think that turquoise is actually going to make that purple. And I know I did turquoise and blue a couple of times in the cards. I love blue and turquoise together. It just makes my heart happy. So of course you're going to see more of that in my cards. And that's okay because that's my style. And I'm quite alright with that. Now, I just think this is turning out to be really pretty. I am going to add this turquoise to this corner. Not very much. Very, like, not hardly anything. But I am going to activate it with water. Oh yeah, that's going to look beautiful. Oh, look at that. There. Now when it dries, it's going to dry a little bit lighter, so because it's kind of dark right there, I'm going to add a little bit down here. And maybe a little bit there. A tiny bit there. Okay. Now I can add my brush a little bit more. And I must have had some brusho crystals over here too. That's quite alright. Oh, so fun. Alright. I'm really liking that. Now if you add too much water, you can always dab up because it will resist. And so you can almost get this matte medium back to white if you wanted. I don't mind it the way it is. I'm going to take some more purple. It's very much a trial and error. The more you don't want to add too much. And then at this point, I'm just going to spray a tiny bit because I know the paper is wet enough that I can spray. Knowing when to wet your paper and when to spray and use a brush comes with practice. That's why I have been saying practice, practice, practice. You'll get better at it if you practice. But at this point, I'm pretty happy with it. You can kind of see the purples and the blues with all the texture. It's going to dry lighter. It's going to look really cool when it's all dry. It's going to have it has some really nice texture down here, and I love this, what's happening right here. You can kind of see it. So yeah. Alright, let's clean up this space and go with a different look. Alright, so these two different stencils. I demoed one, and then I went back. I demoed the vine one, and I believe it's on this one. I went back and I thought, you know, I think I'm going to try a completely different stencil, one that has a lot of glue space, like positive space. So that's what I did. We're going to start with the moss green. Here's my moss green. I'm going to move my purple and my turquoise away so I don't accidentally pick up the wrong color. I'm going to lay this down. Lay this down. Alright, and now when I spray, the Brushos might reactivate a little bit, which that's their job. So I'm going to go ahead And this time I can be a little bit more liberal. I am going to try and save the oranges though, just so we have that variety. And this one's a little bit trickier because you have oranges kind of in different spots, but I think we'll still make it work. And I think if I remember right, it was new Gamboja, wasn't orange. So I'm always, when you know your supplies, you can really, it really helps. Yeah. And I'm just letting it do its thing on the paper. All right, I'm going to let it flow. I'm going to take a damp brush so it's not dripping, right? It's just damp. I don't need to add any more water until I know what I have. And now you can see that it's resisting. Isn't that cool? It's a subtle technique. It's not going to be like in your face, huge deal. But those subtle techniques can really add a lot of characteristics to your card, to your art journal. Yeah. And I think I'm just going to spritz a little bit. And because I can, I'm going to spray it. I'm going to tilt this down a little bit. I don't mind doing that. Clean up dab my edge off. And it is quite possible to have too much brusho on your page, or it's not the right tone. So, you know, you don't always know what you're going to get with brusho. I'm okay with that. I hope you are too. But I think a darker color in this case will really add to it. So I'm going to go ahead and just spray this down a little bit more. One note to talk about is you don't want to spray like directly over your brushos because you don't want water to get into your brushos. That will ruin the brusho. So don't do that. Don't do what I just did. I don't think it's going to matter because I wasn't spraying directly onto it, but you want your brushes to be far enough away that water's not going to get into the little holes that you created. I really am liking this one. This one's looking really neat. But like I did with the black color yesterday with the roses, I'm going to do the same kind of here, and really just, and I'm not going everywhere. I'm really focusing on the edges, I think, for now. But I want to get that pop, and I'm not getting it with the other colors. So let's see if this will give me that pop that I'm looking for. I think it is going to. I can always add water to it. That is looking very earthy. I can't wait to show you. I can't wait to take pictures of it so you can see. It is really pretty. I'm really liking this dark color. It just kind of makes everything look more dramatic. And gives it more of a sense of creative look to it. I like that. All right, I'm going to let that dry. It's going to dry a lot lighter, and it looks like a hot mess right now. That's okay. If I wanted to, I think I will add a little bit of this iridescent gold because I can. But I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. Now when I let that sit, you can see that design coming through. but I want it to look more artistic. So I take my black, and I'm just going around the edges for now. And I don't think I want the full edge, so I'm just gonna stop. Yeah. All right. And this one, it looks like I already put on some of that dark, or some of that iridescent gold, so that's kind of fun already. I think the fun part with gesso one of the fun parts of gesso, or the matte medium that I'm using, you get to play with all the fun textures and colors that Brushos have to offer, and there's not too many mediums out there that will do that for you the way that matte medium will. And I think that's what I'm drawn to matte medium and gesso with this technique, is you get the texture and all the bright, beautiful colors. And when you add the black to it, it almost looks like a piece of art on its own. Now, because I don't want it to look like I just painted that, like I did. It looks like I painted it. I'm going to like add some water, move it around just a tiny bit so it doesn't have that painterly look to it. There, I like that. I'm going to clean up that a little bit. Clean up my workspace as much as I can. And I have a really pretty, almost fall-like watercolor card. I think that's going to look really pretty for a male, masculine card panel. So there's 2 panels right there for you that I did. Let's try some others. Now when this is drying, and I don't really love the vines, so I can erase some of that if you choose to, just with a damp brush, and then you get the pigment and then you just wipe it off on your washcloth. It's called a thirsty brush, but I really like that. That's gonna look really fun. All the colors, that's beautiful. Very organic looking. There we go. That's really fun. And I think I don't know, my fingers are always so messy by the end of the day, but oh, that's looking really cool. Yay! Okay. Moving on. So this card panel is done. This card panel is done. Let's move on to this. Because I already have my black out, and I really think that black is the way to go. I thought about blue. I really like the black. We're going to go with that. This is a very simple, wet it, put some pigment on, walk away from it. And in fact, I think I'm just going to at one point in your artistic career, you're going to say, wait a minute, I don't know if this is the right choice, but you make those decisions anyways. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But I really like that. It's resisting. The black might be overpowering the glitter a little bit. That's okay. I'll show you how to clean that up. And I think I might just have to let it, now that it's wet, I'm just going to have to let the pigment grow and do what it's supposed to do. But while it does that, because the glitter is resisting, see how I'm just dabbing up the water, and underneath is that black still, but the glitter is shining through. So maybe, and if you don't dab it up, then it'll just dry that way, because the pigment is on top of the glue. But I wanted that smoky look underneath, but I didn't want it to be stark white, because it is a brusho class after all, and I liked color even if it's dark. Anyways, there we go. I still think this is going to look really fun as a graduation card. That's what I'm going in with for my mind, in my mind's eye. A graduation card, maybe like a sophisticated happy birthday card, but I'm betting it's going to be a graduation card before I'm done with it. So there's that. Okay, another matte medium, and then we'll go on to our gesso. And gesso is going to be very much like matte medium. There's not much of a difference. Okay, I'm really liking the idea of yellow, and if yellow doesn't work, a gold tone, kind of keeping it in the same color family. And I'm actually going to use sandstone, because I think that that's going to look really pretty with that pink. Yeah, it does. And if you don't like sandstone, do purple, do black, do, you know, it's your card. You don't have to choose my colors. In fact, I would expect you guys to play with your colors instead of... All right. Bless me. Okay, now I can go in with my brush. And I think I'm just going to splatter in a couple areas that I think needs some work. I don't want to be... I think this would look really pretty with blue glitter and a light blue wash. I think that would also look really pretty. Okay, so now I can go in and dab up where I don't want my brushos at, because I did get some brushos on the glitter, and I don't necessarily want the brushos on the glitter. I like that texture right there, so I'm going to keep that, but I don't want the texture on the glitter necessarily. And I think I'll add just a little bit more texture along the way. Okay. And because I'm really careful, I can spray there. Oh, this is such a like spring Easter feel to a card. It is very artistic, very much of an intuitive practice. But man, what a fun technique that is. Isn't that fun? Who knew you could use glitter and brushos together? What a fun card panel that's going to make. I can't wait to share with you. We spend a lot of time on these card panels, so I'm hoping I don't have to spend a lot of time on the embellishments part of it. Okay, now for the fun stuff. This one is gessoed, dried, completely dried. My hands are inky again, so I'm really feeling like a wedding-ish card. So I'm going to do the pinkish OST red, which if you have the package and you need to get 2 colors or a couple colors, I recommend getting OST red, sandstone, the moss green, and new gamboge. But new gamboge and sandstone are close enough that you could probably get away with one or the other, depending on if you want more orange or more of a yellow, because they're both very orangey. But for now, we're going to go with new gamboge and OST red. I am going to wet my card panel all the way. Move my brushes out of the way. Now the gesso has a bit more of a, the gesso is a bit bossy. That's a good word for it. And that's okay. I like gesso for that. It will also, if you don't want to, if you want to just do a couple of these panels and walk away from it, you totally can. All right. See how beautiful that looks? And I haven't even done a whole lot to it because I let the stencil do most of the work. And I think I might just leave it like this. Just let it, I love that red drip right down there. I'm going to try and see if I can't do that again somewhere else. Look at that. Now this is going to dry lighter, so it's going to have a lot of those pinks that I really, really wanted with those oranges. And this is just going to be a phenomenal card, I think. That's going to look really pretty. I'm going to leave it. If I wanted to, once it's dried, I can go in with a wet, like damp paper towel and just remove the brusho onto the gesso, because the gesso is a resist, so it should stay mostly white. But there is that panel. I would not heat set it. You want it to mingle. You want the crystals to mingle, and if anything, I just want a little bit more mix there. Just because you can. Gesso has that quality, that texture quality. Use it to your advantage. I really like this. I'm going to let it dry. We got one more, and we're going to do my favorite color combination for bright, bold, geometric card panels. All right, and that is turquoise and emerald green and or lemon yellow. We're going to start with turquoise and lemon yellow, and then if we need to add the green, we can. My thought process going in here is I'm going to have, I think this band is going to be turquoise and then yellow on this side and this half, and it'll give it a really nice, hopefully it'll give it a nice little atmospheric look. So let's get started. And then just, you know, toss that brush out. This, isn't it nice to have just the hole, so if you do drop it like I've been dropping, it's not going anywhere. I am like the messy crafter. That should be my nickname. Look at that. I just wanted a whole lot of bursts of color in this one. Okay, now got my spray bottle. I want to tread lightly, so I'm going to go way up high, way up high, and I'm gently spraying. I'm not, except for maybe up there. There. Okay, now what I can do is I'm going to tilt very slightly. I'm at a diagonal, so I really don't want to mess too much, but whoo, that that is some bright stuff right there. All right, I really like that. I'm going to let it be. Like I said, I'm going to dry, and it might look like the gesso is on top of the pigment's on top of the gesso, and it is, but if I try to get it up, all the other color is going to go up with it. So I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to let the pigment kind of get into the paper, but I really, really like this. This is going to look really fun. So anyways, I love geometric stencils like this. It makes for really fun card panels. All right, so there's that. All right, so to recap, after the gesso and the matte medium is dried, this is the matte medium card panel, and you can see it's a completely different look. Now, if you could do this with matte medium and get a subtle look with like the triangle stencil, but I really like how the matte medium just kind of preserves the brilliance of the gesso, or sorry, the matte medium preserves the texture of the brushos when you first started it. So that's really fun. Here's the second one. And you can see it's just a subtler, it just gives it texture, it adds more depth to it. This will make for a really fun card or fun birthday, fall birthday card, something. It's very artistic. Very much colorful. This one is drying. This gesso, see how the gesso dries? And it just dries, you can really see the texture, and I didn't do a whole lot. So really gesso and brushos are meant to go together. I really like the matte medium for the subtlety of it, but gesso, man, that's if you want the most bang for your buck, gesso. Here's another matte medium one, and it's almost dried. That's gonna look really fun for a card panel. I think it'll go lengthwise, and I don't think I'll need to put a whole lot of stuff on, but it's gonna look beautiful. And then we did the gesso, we did the matte medium with the glitter, and then just added a little bit to the background so it's not so stark. You can see that, and that's gonna look really fun. Again, I think this is gonna be a really pretty graduation card. I don't think you needed to paint gesso on the background, so you could have done the same technique with just some cardstock and let it dry and put a nice card panel on. But I do think that it works a little bit nicer on your eye. And then there's this one again. It's getting closer to being dry. It's not dry yet, but it is. It's gonna look amazing. You can see all the different triangles. That's gonna look really cool. So there is that technique. I cannot wait to show you how to finish these cards up. That will be in my later lesson. Stay tuned. I'm going to be showing you more and more ways to make fun cards. Hope to see you soon.